Imagine you're scrolling through Tumblr and Instagram and you find an image like this, or this, or maybe even this one. And the image may make no sense to you, or you might just think it's a pretty picture, but then you scroll down to the comments and see people commenting things like, "Ugh, this is so aesthetic. Oh my god, this is my aesthetic. Wow, this is gorgeous." Talk about aesthetic. It can be quite perplexing for someone who's new to the aesthetic scene of the internet, but hardened veterans of the internet will tell you it's actually a pretty simple concept. Overall, internet aesthetics is about personality. You can define how you view the world using only a series of images. Through mediums like Tumblr, Pinterest, and Instagram, teens make mood boards and pin boards to show their personality and what they like. There are niche subcategories under internet aesthetics, and even subcultures that pertain to these topics. Although internet aesthetics are relatively new, the history of aestheticism dates back centuries. So, what is aestheticism? Aestheticism is the study of beauty or taste. Influenced by Kant and championed by Oscar Wilde, it has increased in popularity and use. It is often described as art for art's sake. Aestheticism also explores the concept of taste and toys with the value of beauty. Questions are often asked like, what is the aesthetic value of a painting versus the view of a mountain? What should we value more, beauty or other values? How do we measure taste? These questions present how artistic thinkers may look at the world and place value on it. To most, though, aestheticism is just the concept of appreciating art for its beauty and that alone. So, the term aesthetic has gone up in popularity drastically over the centuries, especially during the 20th century, when the term started to shift in meaning. Online usage of the term aesthetic is less of a noun but an adjective. It describes things that have a common theme and color palette. There's possibly millions of aesthetics. They vary from cottages to glitter to the ocean. Whatever appeals to the viewer is their aesthetic. The origins of this word as an adjective can be traced back to a new music style called vaporwave. Vaporwave started as a musical trend that was mixing and slowing down of 90s songs to give a nostalgic and almost gothic feel. According to KnowYourMeme.com, the most trusted source of course, in the early 2010s, the term was adopted by vaporwave enthusiasts with the rise of the internet and the genre on Tumblr, often accompanied by art styles from the 1980s and the 1990s. If we want a starting point, Esquire writes that, start in 2010 with electronic artist Daniel Lopatin, releasing the album Eco Jams Volume 1 under the pseudonym Chuck Person. This album is like the Mayflower of vaporwave or the foundational stone. It was the first part of the internet to use the term aesthetic to describe a stylistic choice. Vaporwave aesthetic would include Greek busts, 90s Microsoft iconography, and dolphins, oddly. This aesthetic is very iconic if you've been on the internet for a while. If you live an aesthetic and participate in the community, you would often use the suffix core. It is similar to a subculture, but you simply have to label your aesthetic and add the suffix at the end. A great example of this is cottagecore. You usually wear sweaters and drink tea to fit this aesthetic. Overall, internet aesthetics is this new and interesting medium of expression for teenagers or really anyone. To talk about aesthetic is to show your personality and biases. By researching this topic, I found the history and cultures of aesthetics. So, the next time you're scrolling down Insta and see, that's so aesthetic, you can actually know what it means.